What was that? Oh my god, look at this. Ghost of Tabor is the VR equivalent to Escape from Tarkov. We also have Grim VR's attempt at Rust. But what about a VR version of Dayz? We have covered a game in the past that aimed for just that, although it didn't have multiplayer. You can find the link to that video in the description below. But recently I stumbled upon a game named The Haze and its attempt to bring the Dayz experience to VR. Specifically designed for the Oculus Quest 2, it's currently available at $9.99. It did offer multiplayer support, so I decided that I had to give it a shot. The character creation feature surprised me, as I didn't expect customization in this game, especially with its low poly style. While I generally appreciate low poly games in VR because they usually have very smooth performance, this time my expectations were mistaken. Starting the game proved to be a bit tricky for me because it did take me a while to figure out that players actually host the servers rather than having dedicated ones. I haven't usually covered games that disappoint me, and I lack the knowledge about the developer and the backstory of the Haze. Early game alphas or betas are often on platforms like Sidequest where you can install and try them, and if they show potential, you might follow the developer on platforms like Twitter or Discord. However, I'm making an exception this time because the Haze is priced at $9.99 on App Lab and its current state is far from impressive. When you spawn in, you're greeted with an empty forest expanse, a bit like the Dayz experience, and initially I didn't expect to master it right away. But the first thing that hit me was this terrible game performance. Even without recording, I couldn't maintain a steady frame rate. After some wandering around through the woods at 30 frames per second, I stumbled upon a rundown town. There I encountered a zombie that felt eerily familiar in sound and movement. Aggroed. Okay, very reminiscent of the old Dayz zombies here then. And with quick thinking, I looted like in any other shooting game, all the while worrying about the closing zombie threat. Ignoring the performance issues for the moment, the gameplay itself seemed really promising. With performance improvements over time, this could be potentially something really enjoyable. Eventually, I found a weapon and I dealt with the zombie. I don't think this has a bullet in it though. Oh, it does. Although the controls proved to be quite confusing and, in my opinion, not very intuitive for a VR game. Still, I managed to loot the town, but I think that the game's inventory management, the weapon handling, and object interaction all need significant improvement. With all of the loot from the town in my bag, my journey continued down the road, and I eagerly anticipated encountering more zombies. But sadly, I never came across another one. My only enemy seemed to be this frame rate. I eventually stumbled upon a military style encampment with turrets. Holy shit. That really caught me off guard, but surprisingly they weren't too hard to overcome. The loot was worth it though, and I will say that the guns and their feel in the game aren't bad at all. But without other players or proper NPCs to engage with, shooting them didn't really feel all that satisfying. I continued to explore another point of interest, hoping for excitement with my new firepower. However, it became really clear to me that I just wasn't enjoying myself. And after all, that is what I make videos about, is playing games and just having fun. I had really high hopes for the Haze, but in its current state, I can't recommend spending $10 on it. My suggestion to the developers would be to make the game free to play in its alpha state. This way you could start building a community around it and gathering feedback for its improvement. If you guys like this type of content, make sure to leave it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you'd play the Haze with me. I have no intentions of refunding the game. I just really hope that it develops over time. But that is it for this quick look at the Haze. Until next time, take care.